Welcome adventurers and fellow world builders, my name is Yadro and this is Yadro Gaming. Today I'm going to have an intermediary session after the first session of solo Shadowdark that I just ran, and I'm going to upgrade Zeb, our lone survivor, our level 0 adventurer. Well, now he's an adventurer, he's advancing to level 1, and we're going to take the fighter class and we're going to see what kind of boons he gets at level 1, and then we're going to learn a little bit more about his backstory and then build out the world map a little bit because he's into being really close to uncharted territories. So I'd like to start off with Zeb, and let's just look at what he gains moving to a level 1 character, and then from then we'll work on his personality a little bit. So if I jump over to the Shadowdark book, I'm going to head over to page 14, and we're going to look at all the stuff that first level characters get. He already has his stats and ancestry. We're going to jump over to class for fighter, and then we're going to make a talent roll his hit points, and then I think that's all we got to do. So without further ado, let's jump over to the fighter class. That is on page 18. So he is now proficient in all weapons, armor, and shields. He has a D8 for his hit points, so we're going to go ahead and roll those now and see what we get. An 8, big boy roll. Hot first roll of the day here, but we're going to say HP is equal to 8, plus the 1 that he started with is going to be 9. And that is what we're going to roll with. He's going to get that bonus 1 because he did survive being a level 0 character, so we're going to go from there. He's going to gain Hauler, meaning he can add his Constitution modifier if positive to his gear slots. So if his strength is 12, if he's a Hauler, he does have a +1 to his con. So we're going to add that to his actual class as well. I'll bring that up there so maybe you can see it. So on top of that, he's going to gain weapon mastery. He can choose one type of weapon, such as longswords, and he gets a +1 to attack and damage with that weapon. I think he's going to choose Great Axe, having found that one in the wild here at level 0. While he is a mercenary, I think he was rather new in the mercenary business. He might have been on his way to his first job, and that's where we're going to get back into like his motivations and his backgrounds on this. But I think that was his first job that he was going to complete, and now he wants to get back onto the trail of it. So I think Great Axe is just the first weapon he's kind of used, and he's using it in combat, and he successfully killed that giant bat, so that's going to be his weapon mastery. So his HP was 8. His weapon mastery is going to be with that Great Axe. He also has Grit. Choose Strength or Dex, and they have advantage on checks with that. I'm going to say that his Dex is so low that I don't think he would choose that, and we're going to go, that would probably make him a little bit more balanced to give him advantage on those rolls. But I just think that he's going to be more of a strength-based guy. I can't really see another way to do it, so I'm going to give him Strength Grit. Good decision there. Now we get to the exciting part, the differentiator between characters, and we are going to roll his fighter talent. So he is level 1. Let's let her rip. An 11. Choose one kind of armor, and you get +1 AC from that armor. Man, that's a big choice. He's not even close to a town. We don't even have a town on the map. But, I mean, I think his dex is so low that he would want to be as protected as possible and as beefy as possible. So I might give him chainmail. Yeah, I'm going to say that it is chainmail. He's not super dexterous, so he's going to load up on armor. Doesn't care if he's not stealthy. He just wants to be as armored as he can get. So we're going to go with chainmail. Cool. So if I can get him a pair of chainmail, he'll get a +1 bonus. Great. So that kind of figures him out for the fighter class. He doesn't really have a whole bunch more he can gain from that. He is a fighter, and he is lawful, so he would technically have the fighter title of Squire. So I'm going to make a note of that. I don't know if that's going to necessarily mean much to him, but being like a lawful sort of goblin, he probably adheres to, one day wanting to become a knight. So he's going to start on that path. Goblins do get the goblin language, so I'm going to make sure I add that on, as it might be relevant in the future. And then he also has a common language, and I don't think he gets anything extra. I'm going to jump back to the ancestries just to double check on that. He does have keen senses, and I didn't have anyone's class abilities on there when I started this, but now that they are level 1, I'll make sure that I add them on there too. Yeah, so I think that's going to solve it. That is pretty much Zeb in a nutshell. So we've kind of got him figured out, heading from level 0 to level 1. Hopefully he can get to a town and buy some armor and I guess he's got his great axe, so he doesn't really need anything other than that. Maybe find a magic one someday. But we've got him squared away, and I'm going to put that on the new sheet so it looks a bit cleaner. And I'll try to put up an image at the start of the next session so we know what's going on there. But now I want to build out the world map a little bit. So I had this nice thing printed up there, but this is kind of the master sheet. So grid sheet that I printed off, other sheet that I've been working off here, and I've actually numbered them this time. So we're going to build out another set of 19 hexes down here and see what we're able to draw, because it looks like he's kind of marching his way across this side of the countryside, leaving from there. So I'm going to go ahead and get started. I'm just going to label these 1 through 19, and I'm not even sure if, you know, we're going to get to all of these. Zeb might die immediately, but the next party I take through could get to do it. So it's going to be good to have all that legwork done, so I don't need to worry about it later. So we're heading in. We're going to make our first roll here. I'm going to start in the middle again at 1 beat, and then we're just going to work our way through and see what we've got here. So I'm going to roll 2d6 and see where we start. In the dish. A 12. We start off with a mountain. All right, and then I'll do well, maybe I will jump in here and I'll just figure it all out at the same time. There's a mountain. Let's see if there's a point of interest. There is not. And then let's do danger level is also a 1d6. A 3 is unsafe. Okay, let's do the next one. So I got mountain. It might actually be quicker if I just blow through all of these together. We'll do new hex. 6. 6 is same as current, so we're in a little mountain range here. 7 is same. We got another mountain. 7 is the same. Okay, little buddy's gonna run into a mountain down here. 12. Roll a new hex terrain. Fresh start. 7 is a forest. Oh, finally we get a forest. The next one will go off forest. A 7 is the same. Let's do another one. An 8 is also the same. So mountain, 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 forest, forest, forest. And now we're going to go up from 2B to get to 8. And we will see what we get there. We're proceeding from mountain, so that's what we're going to be based off of. A 3 is the current step plus 1. We'd go from mountain up to the top, and we get desert. That's really cool. I don't know why there's a desert there, but I like it. A 2 is current step plus 1. It goes from desert to a swamp. Maybe that's just like a low-lying area of the mountain drains off and creates a swamp in that lowland. Who's to say? Heading on to a 6 is the same as the current. Another swamp. Lots of swamps in this part. 9, current plus 2. So let's go swamp, grassland. We're back to a forest. Forest is kind of like my bread and butter, so I'm not mad that that's getting put on the map. 7 is same as current. Okay, so we're going from grasslands to a bunch of forest. Another one. 4. Same as the current. All right, suddenly Zeb is going to be going through a heavy forest all the way. Man, it's like mountains in the middle and surrounded by forests on all sides. I like that a lot. I'm not sure if there's any points of interest yet. That is yet another forest. 2 hexes to go before we complete this. That is another forest. I'm really interested to see if this is like super dangerous. There's like a bunch of deadly spots on here. So 1 random desert. I wonder if that's like a beach. Like if that's the ocean. If this is just like an extended dry area without a whole lot of vegetation on it. I think that could be kind of cool. Then that turns into swampland into forests. Cool. All right, we got that done. Now let's jump on to figuring out the danger level. I'm going to set that up there, and I'm just going to work off to the side here. So at number 1, that mountain in the middle started off as unsafe, and now we'll head up to 2. This is just 1d6, and then the brown dice is going to be our danger level, and the point of interest roll will be the green. None of that, and that is deadly. Oh boy. another deadly hex. That is in 2, and that is the mountain. No point of interest. Same thing. 1, there is a point of interest on here. I'm sorry. That's an X, that's an X. There is a point of interest, and it is a 3, so that is going to be unsafe. And that terrain type for hex 3 was a mountain. Okay, so we'll roll a point of interest. I'll get a d20. 3 is a natural landmark. A 3/3 being attacked by an invader. All right, very cool. In the mountains, a natural landmark attacked by invaders. I'm guessing that's where we're going to be getting involved next, but let's complete the board here and see where we're at. We're jumping over to hex 4. It's another mountain. 3. I guess 1 means there's no mark, and 1 is a safe hex. And hex 4 is a mountain. Same thing, no point of interest. Number 5 is risky. And hex 5 is a forest. There is a point of interest. And 1, 2, 3, that is 6 is another forest. And that is also a risky. And let's roll what the point of interest is. 2 d20s. 4 and 17. A natural landmark controlled by malevolent sorcerer. Okay, now we're getting awesome. Yup. I'm feeling that one. Okay, natural. Man, I almost wonder if it's like a druid sort of situation, like in the mountains and in the forest. If there's like cairns or something that are powered. I'm getting ahead of myself. I need to slow down. But I like where I'm at here. Controlled by a sorcerer. Okay, let's keep trucking along here. We got some good stuff brewing. No point of interest, and a 2 is unsafe. And what is 7 for us? 6, 7 in the forest. Again, I'll blow this up on a bigger map so it'll be easier to see and follow along. Now we're moving on to 8, and 8 is the desert. No point of interest, and a 6 is deadly. A deadly desert. I don't hate that. Cool, I want to get some more points of interest on here just so we have stuff to interact with. Number 4 for 9 is a swamp. 4 is risky. All right, and let's do another one. If we move from swamp to a 10 is also a swamp. That one is safe with no point of interest. The next one is 11 is a forest. And now no point of interest, and it is also safe. Okay, we're going to have some relatively quick travel through there. No point of interest, but a risky. Hex 12 is another forest. Okay. 1 and a 1, it is safe. There is a point of interest, and 13 is another forest. Okay, let's roll to see what we have here for the interest. Oh, it's a 14 and a 7. A monster nest. Abandoned and in ruins. Oh, so did someone go out and clear it? Maybe someone went into the monster nest and left it in ruins. Maybe we might be meeting other crawlers. There might be a place to go to. We need party members. That might be a good first spot. A monster nest abandoned. Oh man, I need to slow my brain down. It's trying to get ahead of me and start to fill in these blanks. 14. Another forest. And and it is a risky endeavor. It is risky. Oop, I got ahead of myself. Risky forest. Let's go to hex 15. Another forest. Nothing of interest. That's another forest. The 2 is unsafe. No point of interest. 16, we're almost at the end. 4 is going to be risky. I did it again. It is risky, it is forest. There is a point of interest. All right, we're getting stuff to play with on this side of the continent. Lucky number 7s. A village. Abandoned and in ruins. Man, that could have been our place. But maybe he can find some supplies. I'm all on board with that one. So he is going to be looking for that for sure, because he is desperate to get something he can use here. So that is moving on to, that's still on 16. All right, a village in ruins. Or abandoned, I guess, but we'll see which way it actually goes when I get there. 17. Let's do another roll. 5 is going to be risky again. It is a forest and no point of interest. 2 more. We got a 1, so that's going to be safe. It is a forest. No point of interest. And the last one, 19, is 1 more forest. 6 and a 6. It is deadly, and there is no point of interest. Okay, a deadly forest. And no point of interest. All right, so I'm going to get that made up here. We got some mountains. We got a ton of forests. We got 1 desert spot. We got a couple deadly. Got some safe. Pretty good balance there that we can play with. But a couple points of interest. I know we're going to want to check out that monster nest that is abandoned. If there's an abandoned village, we're absolutely going to want to beeline it there to try to figure out the safest path to try to find some supplies and try to find some armor. Things like that. And I feel really good about some new stuff that's coming up on the map in that direction. I'm going to try to leave it nebulous so that when I go through and play it, I can actually assign it names and make up the adventure as we go through in the next session. But that is a really, really good start. So I did a little bit of this in the first session, but I'm going to jump over to the NPC emulator that I have here, and I want to use it to find out a little bit more about my character, what his motivations are. So I'm going to use the Universal NPC emulator, or UNE, to find out the NPC modifiers. Now that we've seen what he does a little bit and how he acts, I just want to put some new modifiers on him. So I'm going to do some NPC modifiers and nouns and see what I draw from that, and then maybe build out some quest ideas for him as well. I'm going to call that an 80. Corrupt. Ugh. And then let's see what his noun is. Corrupt actor. Oh man, he is lawful. And if he is coming up as corrupt actor, I think to me that says that he might have been framed for something in his past. Like that has what has brought him onto the missionary life, because a corrupt actor, basically messed up his life. And he had to go, although he's a law-abiding citizen, he's a good goblin. I think that people just think he's like an evil goblin. He has to deal with that his whole life, and now he wants to search out, do good, but make money and coin by being that mercenary and doing it the only way that he knows how. So I think corrupt actor is someone that is affecting him, not necessarily him himself. So I think that's going to pull an NPC in. Because if he is a lawful goblin, I don't see him as being corrupt. That kind of goes against what his character is. But I really like that as pulling an NPC idea, and it's my game, and I can do what I want. Now I want to jump over to NPC motivation and verb and see if I can pull anything out of that about what he actually wants to do. 97, Rob, our lawful goblin. Now I'm thinking he might be evil. 32, the government. Oh, okay, never mind. Our lawful goblin wants to rob the government. I'm watching One Piece right now, so this is like really ringing true as this goblin that wants to take down the world order, rob from the government. He's been harmed in the past by this corrupt actor, and maybe that was a government official that framed him and put something on him. That's an NPC to pull back from, but he was basically ran out of town. He's had to become a missionary since, and that's why he got on the boat to head out on this adventure without much skills. So we have an NPC drawn from that. He wants payback against the government. He is lawful. He's always done things right. The government has harmed him in this way, and now he wants payback at some point. Rob the government. Oh my gosh, I love that. I'm going to do another round just so we have like 2 quests for him, because that's going to be like kind of a formidable task, if not epic. And I want to see where we can go from there. 53 complete. And then let's do noun. 62. Lust. How is he missing like a long-lost lover? Maybe he wants closure. Maybe he had like a fling that went wrong, and now that he's like in his lawful ways, he wants to end on a good note. Or he's always been pining for someone and he wants to win them over. Maybe he needs, being the poor goblin, he was framed for something. It was like this long-lost love that he couldn't have. He's always admired her from a distance, and now he wants to make a name for himself to go back home. I kind of like that. He's pining after someone. That might pull in another NPC, but a quest of his motivation about why he wants to basically take away from the government. Oh man, all this could tie in together so well. I'm going to come up with some vows from that, and I'm going to put them on the Ironsworn table. And then we'll track their progress as he goes. So I think, man, to rob the government, that's either going to be a formidable or extreme. So anytime he does something that gets him a little bit closer to his goal, it's a formidable task. He'll mark off like 1 progress for it. If I ended up going extreme, he'll mark off like 2 of the 4 progress he would need in that box. And then when I get to the point where I feel like he has solved it, I will roll 2d10 versus whatever number he's brought up to on this chart. So if he's a 7, I'll roll 2d10, and if both of them are higher than a 7, that'll be like a complete success. Like he gets what he's been looking for, like that quest line is complete. If he gets 1 above a 7 and 1 below, that means it's like a partial success. It's like a weak hit, strong hit if you get both, weak hit if you get 1, and then if he gets both below, that's a total miss, and it might just like change the direction of the quest, or he'll have to start over, or he's just failed. So that's the mechanic I'm going to be using there. So I think of his 2 quests, rob the government, taking care of that like corrupt actor in the process, and I'm going to make out sheets for those, that would put us at, I think that's extreme to try to take over the government. I don't think we're ever going to get close to that, but that's going to be something in the back of his mind that's motivating him. I'm going to mark that as extreme. And then his other one is to get back his love, or to make a name for himself, like where he'll finally feel good about himself. That kind of feels formidable. And at the end of sessions, I might take a look at those and say, like, did we progress on this? And if yes, mark it. If not, no. But right now, I think he's still going to be in survival mode. He's probably going to look for other survivors. He's going to look for other crawlers, try to find a village or a town that he can go to, try to maybe collect another party member, another crawler, or at least get some armor to protect himself, or he's not going to be very long out here. Yes, he's level 1. Yes, he rolled an awesome 8 hit points, so now he's up to 9. He's still alone in the wilds, and there's some deadly squares in here. There's some hexes that he's going to have to travel through. So I think this is a great start. It gives me a lot to work on. I can make up a whole another world map. I can get those hexes down. I can clean all this up and make him a new character sheet, and then get ready for my next session, which will be session 2. So this is kind of like 1.5. It's going to be the setup. I'm probably going to do this after each session to kind of work out the details about what I want to do. And then we'll come back and we'll play another one. Thanks for watching. Thanks for sticking around. Like and subscribe. Give me some comments and tell me how I'm doing. If you've ever done this yourself, or if you get motivated to do so, I'd love to hear about it down there. Other than that, thank you so much again. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, why be a player when you can be a god? Or both.